tutorial in Kotlin Multiplatform Mobile. So congratulations first of all, because we have successfully set up our environment and created our simple basic Android and iOS application. So if you are new to this tutorial, just go to my previous lectures about Kotlin Multiplatform, where I have explained in detail about the basics and like setting up your environment and running your first hello project for iOS and Android. Okay, so after this, now we will move further with understanding about the build system that the Kotlin multi-platform uses, because obviously to get started we need to understand about the build system, what iOS is using, what Android is using, and okay, so this is the concept that we're gonna go through this tutorial. So for Android, obviously if you're an Android developer, you already know that Gradle is the build system that Android uses, and obviously also Gradle is used here in Kotlin Multiplatform Mobile. For iOS, where you're gonna use Cocoa Pods. Okay, so there are also other methods. We will be exploring these other methods in the about this advanced topic in the later chapter, because we are going to go through step by step. So okay, let's understand about Gradle. Okay, so what is Gradle actually? So if you come with the Android word, you already have some experience with Gradle, but it's probably with the one written in Groovy language. Okay, but the Gradle that we are going to use here is using the Kotlin script version of Gradle. Okay, so if you see the normally the build.gradle is used, but we are going to use the build.gradle.kts version. So that means it's a Kotlin script version. This version uses Kotlin for the Gradle DSL. Okay, domain specific language, which makes it much easier to use it if we are already using Kotlin. Obviously we are using Kotlin because it's our preferred language. So we are going to also use Kotlin script version of build Gradle, right? So this makes it much easier to use if you already familiar with Kotlin actually, you know, there are multiple build.gradle the build.gradle the Kotlin script, right? So there are one is for your root project, the another one is for your Android application, the another one is the shared module, right? So that is shared between iOS and Android, right? Yeah, okay, so the another interesting trick is, like, guys, if you don't know any interesting if you don't know any particular command, okay, what, for example, what plugin is doing, what this register is doing, you just need to go and press the command and click the particular name of the command. Then it will just go you through the class and explain you what this command is particularly used for. Like, for example, this plugin function actually configures the plugin dependency for this project. Okay, so this is the simple way of understanding. And now let's understand the build file of our root folder. Okay, our root folder, that is our entire time project, that this time application that I'm gonna develop. The root project called build.kotlin script. This is in this format. Okay, as you can see here. So it consists of plugins and the task register. So this task register actually is the it defines a Gradle task called clean. Task dot registers this task namely clean, and what it does, it deletes the root build directory, and we are going to use this whenever you need a fresh build. Like when you just build and clean your task, is gonna delete the entire root build directory. Okay, so and it will start a fresh build. Okay, so this is the situation, and this is the plugin that is configuring all the plugin necessary for our application. And yeah, this was about the root project. Now let's go and understand about the shared build file, right? So 1 second, guys. Yeah, let's go to our there is also another section called Okay, there is actually also, let's go for not about this here, but let's go step by step. Let's go to the Android section. Okay, so this Android build dot Gradle dot Kotlin script is especially for the Android your Android section of your project. So there we have is starting with the with defining with the plugins needed for your Android application. It has like your all these necessary plugins that the Android application uses. Then the second section is like we have your Android section. You have the dependencies here, right? So let's go through the first the dependencies section. What is this dependencies section? This dependencies section actually consists of all the necessary dependencies that your application is using, like your Android dependencies their application is using. Like for example, obviously you are implementing the shared module. Here you are implementing the compose UI, you know, all the compose UI libraries, and yeah, obviously the material and everything all about compose. Okay, and like so most of our Android specific libraries, as you can see here, is starting from with Android X, right? So material components, you know, like everything like compose, you know, UI tooling, preview, and everything. So and all actually your business logic are lying here, okay, in the shared module. Okay, okay, so saying that, let's go to focus on our Android section. And this Android section, it consists of multiple settings. For example, you have your compile SDK, where this is specifies the Android SDK version to compile. Okay, that like your compile version of your Android application. You have your default configurations with your application ID. As you know that the ID should be unique for every app to be released on your Play Store, right? Your minimum software development kit is 24. Your target SDK is the 33. You know, like your is the minimum is the lowest Android version your app will run on, and your target is your latest Android version you are supporting, right? And your version code and version name are pretty much essential things for your releasing of your application, to keep track of your version releases, right? Whenever you release your application, this is very important. Okay, if you want to know more about, I have gone through a detailed description about this version code, version naming in my release section of my tutorial. Okay, so and you also have your other interesting concepts like your build types. Like for example, you have a release build, and you can also have the debug one. For release, your minify enable is false, but you need to set it to true when you are ready to release this application, right? And what next, guys? Yeah, so there are some other concepts like your Kotlin that is targeting your JVM target, and compile options. Okay, and that's it. It's a simple Android build system. Okay, right? Build Kotlin script file. And now you also have your shared build .gradle or Kotlin script file. So this is actually for your shared module. So if you see, there are some this is actually shared for entire as you see that if you I have shared it with my Android project, right? As you can see here, and also it's shared with your iOS one, shared iOS main. Yeah, actually it's shared between both of them, right? For iOS and Android. Now with all this file, like your common main, your iOS main, okay, and your obviously, where is my Android Apple main? Okay, so we can just try to see it here. You have your Android main, that is your main, you have common main, and you have iOS main. It's shared, this build script, okay, that I'm just opening right now, is shared between all these three modules, right? Okay, so let's go to my the first section is the plugin. It consists of multi-platform plugin. You have a Cocoa Pods for iOS plugin, and you have the ID com android.library. Okay, the first plugin is for the Kotlin Multiplatform, obviously, and defines this module as a multi-platform module. So what it does is it defines the module as a multi-platform module, and the next is for your iOS and brings in Cocoa Pods. Okay, so the last plugin is for, this is especially for your Android one. So we'll use this to create an Android library to use in Android app. Okay, so create this as Android library. So we are gonna create this as an Android library, this shared module as Android library to be used in Android application, right? So this is the concept here. So now we have the Kotlin section, as you can see here. This Kotlin section uses the multi-platform plugin above and configures the module for your Kotlin multi-platform project. Okay, so it has different sections, like you have first you have Android, you have iOS, you know, let's do it step by step. Most one, you have Android, second you have for iOS, third is for Cocoa Pods, okay, and finally you also have source set and many more. So we use this Android one method to define an Android target. Okay, this is to used to define an Android target. Okay, and this number second defines target for defines target for iOS, right? So they are iOS x64, iOS X simulator, you know, you have iOS ARM. Okay, you can target for iOS or on ARM64 platforms. This is for iOS for ARM64 platform. This is for the x86 and 64 platforms, right? And this is for the simulator. Okay, so and this is the where we define the settings for Cocoa Pod file, and it will be in iOS app directory. Okay, the main thing is here is the base name. As you can see here, the main thing is the base name, which is shared and is the path to the pod file. Okay, so next we're gonna define the source sets. This is the fourth section. And this uses the predefined variables and okay, so you have a common main by getting, you know, all the dependencies. So put your multi-platform dependencies here. So we're gonna put some multi-platform dependencies here. So for common test we are gonna put some testing dependencies here, right? And yeah, so this is it. And finally we have this Android section, which we define the Android configurations, right? Namespace, compile SDK, and data default configuration, the mean SDK. Okay guys, okay, so these are the interesting information here. So now let's go to our iOS section. So iOS uses different dependency management system. So one of the common that we're going to use in this process is called Cocoa Pod. So let's go and open our iOS pod file. Then you're gonna see this file that consists of this code that says the most important file is this port file that I already told you, which is actually this shared section. So this defines the shared framework that KMP will create, and this can be used in your iOS app. Okay, so as I already told you, this shared path, the base name, and this port file using the same pod section with the shared path to be used in your iOS app, right? Okay, so this is all about your iOS section. Now okay, so one of the nicest feature of a new Gradle version is the concept of a BuildSrc module. Okay, so this is a module where you can define versions, variables, as well as define your old plugins. Okay, to create this module, let's go and start. Right click to our root project. Okay, like and create a new directory, and let's create it as a build source. Okay, so we've created our build source. This is a feature of a new Gradle version where you can define versions, variables, as well as define your own plugin. Okay, so this is the interesting thing that we're going to do now here. So okay, now so this is a build source. So now let's create a new file here, and let's create a build.gradle.kts Kotlin script file, and let's go and add some interesting dependencies here. So we have added map and plugins, Kotlin DSL, so here it's gonna use the Kotlin DSL plugin. Okay, so we have already synced the entire project, as you can see here. Okay, so let's create a new directory here now in the build source. So we're gonna create a new directory here, but let me think about the name here. Obviously it's gonna be Kotlin, no, it will be source, it will be source main Kotlin, and then we're gonna also create a new file name here called dependencies. Okay, so this file actually will now contain all the variables that we're gonna use to define all our plugins and dependencies. So the reason for creating this is to avoid having to maintain all the versions for your plugins and dependency in many different files, right? So actually we are gonna centralize the management of the versioning of your plugins and dependency in the single file. So defining the versions at in one place makes it easier to changes later, right? So define let's define all our plugin names here. Okay, let's do it step by step. Let's define first okay, actually it's not dependency class, but it's just a simple file. So now let's do it simple step by step. We'll define all our all plugin names, define all plugin names by adding this code. So let's go and define the plugins. So we're gonna do is const val android plugin is android. We have a const val android app, which is for com.android.application. Okay, we also have now const val android lib, which is com.android.library. Okay, then we also have another one is a const val multiplatform, which is for multi-platform. We also have another one for compose plugin or g.jetbrains.compose. Then we also have a cocoa pods native.cocoa pods. Okay, cocoa. Okay, so this looks cool. Now we're gonna so this code defines regular Kotlin variables you can use throughout your Gradle script. Okay, so this is pretty much centralized here. So next we're gonna define the version numbers by adding the so let's define the version numbers object versions. First step by step constant val min stk is 24, constant val target stk was 33, constant val compile stk, sorry guys, stk was also 33, right? So now let's define for plugins constant val Kotlin. Okay, let's see which Kotlin version that I'm using. Is obviously 1. These are all compose. Okay guys, 1 second, just let me just understand one thing here. I'm gonna use the compose version, compose 143. Kotlin brains Kotlin. Actually, we're using the experimental Kotlin Gradle plugin API, as you can see here. So okay, let's not define that for the Kotlin. Okay, it's gonna use the default one. Okay, so what we're gonna define here is some other plugins, like for example, compose. Compose compiler version. Actually, we're gonna use this version. The next one is compose version, is also the same. And yeah, this is how we define it. And yeah, you can add here multiple plugins, right? Where whatever you need, you can do add more, right? Like whatever you want, like for example for coroutines, also you can add for JUnit, unit, you can add for material, okay, we can add here for material because we are using for material. No, not this one, guys, not this one, not this one. Yeah, we are also using the same compose material one. So the compose is 171 activity, compose activity. Activity version, that is 171. Okay, so this is it. Yeah, material is also actually using the same one, so we don't need to define it. Yeah, but okay, so this is it, guys. And now let's go and create some dependencies. So this is the version class, it's singleton. Now we also create dependencies class, tips class, where we are gonna put out all our necessary structure, compose constant value UI. We are using this so actually I'm gonna use the entire one. Here I'm gonna const val UI. Okay, the version we can specify using the versions compose version. As you can see here, it's pretty simple. Constant val, this is the UI tooling, right? So it's also using the same one. Let me just reduce this window. Okay, window version.compose version. Then we also have a constant val for preview. And we also has for foundation. Foundation, so compose person, and we have now finally for material, right? Material, compose person. Okay, so this is how we use it. Yeah, you can create a different dependencies like whenever if you want, like for compose, like for coroutines, that we're gonna add soon. Okay, once it is necessary. We can also add for JetBrains, you know, like other libraries like datetime utils, you know, and you can also add JUnit, right, you know, everything. So now after adding this, so we need to do some modification. We're going to use this BuildSrc, the dependencies file that we have created. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our necessary shared module, and now replace it with this ID will be replaced with our com android library is replaced with android lib. Okay, this will be replaced with the pods. Multiplatform will be replaced with multiplatform. Okay, so now we sync now. And let's go and Okay, so it has done syncing, so we will now yeah, let's go to now our Android section. So here we don't have to replace anything. Yes, we have to replace here with our versions right here. Versions dot need to use versions dot compile SDK. Let's try it again. Versions dot min SDK. Yeah, min SDK compile SDK. So then what next? This is okay. So now let's go to our Android specific build Gradle. So then we will now change this the implementation here, I mean like the dependencies that we have used. So this is entirely for compose. Okay, actually we have missed the activity part. Sorry guys. Okay, where is my activity section? Yeah. Okay, so this is actually but different one, like, okay, but it is the compose one, so we can just add it here. Const activity, we will be reducing this one, and activity. Okay, so now everything is ready. So now let's go to our Android app, the build.gradle Kotlin script. We will now replace this with our dependencies. So with the dependency of compose, what we're gonna do, we're gonna replace this with our BuildSrc dependencies file. Okay, here what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this UI as a simply we're gonna use UI. This UI tooling is gonna be tooling. This is gonna be preview. This will be use foundation. This will be use material, TERRIL material. This will be activity. Let me recheck everything. Yeah, activity, material, foundation, UI tooling. Okay, preview. Okay, so this is okay. So now let's shrink it down, and also let's try to use the respective versions here. Versions compile SDK is versions min SDK, versions target. Okay, let me check what is, if I have target SDK. Okay, so target SDK. Okay, version code and version name, I will just keep it like that. Okay, so yeah, we are ready here, but we still need to change our your plugin name. That is, for IDE we have to change it to application. This is our Android app. For Kotlin, this Android is Android plugin. Okay, Android plugin. Yeah. Okay, so that's okay guys. So let me sync it down. Let me ignore this one. Okay, so everything seems to be working fine. What next? Okay, let me recheck everything if everything is okay. Let me go to my Android section. Let me go to my the series. Okay, BuildSrc. Okay, Android app. Okay, the plugin. Okay, we need to work on our okay, I would like to just leave it like this for the moment. Android application, Android app. Let me try to okay, use Android app here. Let me use Android library here. Now where is my okay Android library? Android was Android plugin. Android plugin, and multi-platform was multi-platform actually. Okay, just let me also replace this one. The version I want to just because it's just mono used, is singly used just only here, so we don't need to define it anywhere else. Okay, seems like everything is working fine. Okay, now let's go and run our Android app and see if everything is working fine, all the changes that we have made. Voila guys, yeah, everything is working pretty fine with this new system of BuildSrc to manage your plugins and dependencies in a single file, right? Okay guys, okay, we are in the end of this tutorial, so catch you up in the next tutorial. Please do support me, subscribe me, okay, so that I will be coming up with cool amazing tutorials about multi-platform mobile, and catch you up in the next lecture. Thank you guys.